Hi all, it's Gemma back again, doing another video. So I want to carry on with my sub-personalities series, and the next one I want to explore is the inner critic. So I've got a poem to start actually to open up with. It's not from my book, but it's a random one I wrote a few years back. It's called The Harsh Internal Mother. The harsh internal mother, the voice inside my head, so critically abrasive, chastising my own self. A tone I have acquired through years of self-rejection, believing I'm not good enough with ideals of perfection. I work hard every day to silence mental aggression and break through the resistance of this inner atonement addiction, and speak gently and with softness, with kindness and affection, to rewire the fierce inner urge and heal the split confliction. Two distinct sides of me I need to integrate, till kindness does take over as I habituate the nicer mother aspects of nurturing compassion, freeing me from punishment as my symptoms do now lessen. So that was written. So my inner critic, I spent years with a very, very aggressive mental state where my head would scream at me, sometimes when unmedicated in voices, but very often when medicated, when I don't hear voices, it would just be really harsh, repetitive, intrusive thoughts. And it was very, very overbearing. Now, I think my relationship with both my mum and my father crossed over there a bit, because my mum was she was quite a critical mum, and I know that her intentions weren't I know it wasn't ill-intended, but and it no doubt was due to her relationship with her own parents. I mean, these patterns repeat until somebody comes along and chain breaks. And I've said before, this isn't about judgment, this isn't about blame projection, it's simply about observation of you know, what patterns am I dealing with? How do I heal from and integrate them? And running from things, denying they're there, that never healed anyone. I've learned that time and time again on this journey that I'm on. And also, you know, if I get stuck, like in the past, if there was any blame, I would journal on it, get it out of me. So, you know, if there is blame towards another, or if there is unresolved anger or whatever negative emotion that's keeping you stuck, denial never works with any of these things. Get inside it, get it out your system in healthy ways. And I'm not saying to run around and have a go at the people, although we do make mistakes on this journey, and yeah, we're all going to fall down, but you learn as you get back up, you know. So right, where am I going with this? So, and also what's interesting to note, I noticed the other day as well, like my relationship with my own son, who's 11 now, coming up 12, and I could see a little bit, I think I got an insight into my mum's psyche and what I say about society, how it pressurizes us to conform and not come across in certain ways in public, because I saw myself being a bit nitpicky with my own son and a little bit critical, and I was thinking, oh, it is like that societal self-conscious thing of, oh well, if I don't do this or I don't do that, what would people think again, and feeling the need to have to behave in certain ways and conform. And whenever I observe patterns like that in myself, I don't want to conform. Well, I don't want to be anarchic for the sake of it either, but I don't want to diminish myself because of what others would think. So I tend to look at these patterns, observe them, and work my way through them, you know. So because I don't want them to repeat, and I don't want it to have a negative impact on my son. I don't want to deny that they're there, but I also don't just want to give in to it either. So yeah, my relationship with my mum, she was quite critical. She wasn't aggressive. She's not, I think my aggressive mental state came more between the blending between my relationship with my mum and my dad. My dad was quite angry as an individual when I was growing up, and I myself went through years of, like I say, mental aggression, of unresolved anger. Some of it got blocked inside me because of medication, and it was a lot to break through, years and years worth of intense stuff to break through that had never been dealt with. And these patterns that form within us, they're not actually there to hurt us. They form at times when we're struggling to self-protect. They're self-protective, but they linger when they're not dealt with. And so that's why working through them when you're able is so important, because then you begin to liberate and set yourself free from them. My own, you know, my relationship with my mum is good now. It is good now, and I'm grateful. And I'm actually grateful to my mum as well for for the fact that she's bringing up my son, because when my son was 4.5, she took over. She's got special guardianship of my son, and she wasn't a young woman by any means when she did that. Yeah, I am grateful, and he now, as a result, has got a very good support network around him, and because he has stuff going on emotionally, not mentally, emotionally. Well, no, he has got a few things like socially, stuff like that, and I won't go, that's not something I want to talk about too much on these videos. He's only a young lad, bless him, and he's a bloody star. I adore him. He's a great kid, and thanks to my mum, I'm still able to see him and stuff. He's in my life. Like I said, my relationship with her actually seems to improve a lot, as time wears on, which is good, and that's because my relationship with myself has improved a lot as well. And the more we heal and integrate on the inside, the more at peace we are, the more that reflects out then. And yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see all the work I've done on the inside over the years paying off, because that inner critic voice that I had going for a long, long time was very, very crippling. It was like I couldn't do right for doing wrong. And I always had like this fragmented part of me that would observe my every bloody move, and think at me in third person and stuff over the years, and all sorts of different experiences I've had, like, oh, she's going to do this now, or that was when I was very unwell, at times when I've been very unwell and unmedicated. But yeah, it's fascinating how we can turn against ourselves because of these patterns that form within us, and how much effort it can actually take to become free of it. Obviously, I use my creativity a lot in order to do so. I'm an artist and a poet, as well as just my speaking voice. So yeah, I love writing things out in verse, but I love painting and expressing myself that way as well. And I like doing these videos as well. It's good fun. It's good fun, and it's validation for me and everything I've been through. But it's also a case of, I want to make what I've lived through count and help people if I can, just by sharing my story and reminding us all that we're not, those times when we feel alone, that we're not as alone as we think we are, and that the solutions are there. They are there where they've always been, just because something gets buried doesn't mean it's gone. And yeah, messages of hope as well, because let's face it, we're not living in the easiest of times. Life's always going to have challenges, but I think people are experiencing some extreme ones at the moment, and the more we can come together as a collective whole again over time, the more it's going to alleviate the more suffering aspect of life for most, because I don't think we're meant to suffer to the extent that we are in many ways at the moment, particularly not with our mental emotional health and the crisis that it's currently in, because it is in crisis. So yeah, but I've learned over the years to be a lot kinder to myself. And when I was on the ward recently, it was like I finally broke through the real harsh bits of, and obviously going back on the meds would have had a bearing, but that aside, the work I was doing on myself and everything I've done is paying off, so that I can be kind to myself, so that I can be gentle with me for really for the first time I've ever truly been able to do it, because I was always at me, my head was always at me, and I felt like I had no control over it either, because when I talk about intrusive thoughts and voices as well, it's not something you can just switch off from. It's not something you can just press the off switch, because these are very fragmented parts of an individual that are literally coming at you, seemingly from other sources in a lot of instances. And there's some argument to say, because everything's energy, that in some cases perhaps they are doing it. It all depends on, what you believe, how you look at things, and obviously that's open for reevaluation in all of us as well. So, just because we believe something once doesn't mean it necessarily has to hold true forever. And I suppose, yeah, even an example of learning to be softer in my approach with me is an example of that, So I'm noticing myself saying a lot again today. I said that on a previous video. I was talking to a taxi driver about it earlier. We were laughing. It's going to be on my epitaph, "Here lies Gemma," But out comes my silly humour again. So I think I'm just looking at the time on this video. It's quite a short one, but I can't really think of anything else I truly want to say, other than when I was talking earlier about how I observed myself with my son and how I want to break that pattern down even further so it doesn't have a negative impact on him. And, you know, I chat to Jude as well about various things. That's my son's name. And I chat to him about lots of stuff, as does my mother, actually. I know they have their talk time allocated, like before he goes to sleep at night, where they talk things through and helps him process stuff, and that's really sweet. But yeah, so where was I going? Oh yeah, so when I was observing myself with him the other day, it's fascinating. The more you go on the inner journey, the more conscious you become of your own patterns, the more awake and aware you become, and the more you're able to stand back and observe. So as we begin to heal parts of ourselves and they begin to become integrated and at peace, it's like it makes more space and more room within then to be able to watch other patterns as they arise, and to be able to then work on them, and to do it in layers and in stages. So yeah, it's an interesting journey when you're actively, consciously working on yourself in order to become a more balanced individual. So it's fun as well. It gets more fun. I mean, yes, it can be incredibly challenging. There's definitely peaks and troughs, but it's kind of like the lower you sink in a trough, the greater the potential to rise even higher at the end of it when you come back up again. So until eventually it levels off, which is of course the objective, really. So I'm going to leave it here because I'm over talking now and thinking I can't think of anything more to say. So there's no time limit on these videos. I can have them as long or as short as I like. So as usual, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe, comment if you wish. And thank you to anyone who stayed to the end. Much love. Bye.